Welcome to Brothas On Football, exclusively on the Digital Podcast Network, the only podcast where we discuss professional football from a black man's point of view. I'm your host, David Haley. Welcome back to Brothas On Football on the Digital Podcast Network. My name is David Haley, and I'm your host. Today, we've got the urban gladiator, Jay Washington, also known as the resident supervillain, and the man from the Bay, Reggie Watkins, also known as Mr. Know-It-All. Gentlemen,
Yeah.
How are you today?
I appreciate it with the AKA and the slashes and all the monikers. I just want y'all all to know that's listening. This is trademark property.
Gentlemen, my question is, who's going to the Super Bowl that's not New England, and why?
Reggie, you want first?
I'll go first.
You go first. Because, I mean, you have a passionate opinion about who you believe is going. Because I pretty much know who you're going to say. So go on there and say it.
You know who I'm going to say?
Go on, say it. Go on, say it. Go on, say it.
Kansas City Chiefs.
See? Go say it. Go say it.
All right, why?
Okay.
Why?
Because they have Patrick Mahomes, okay? First off, they have Patrick Mahomes, and they're in the AFC West. Now, they're going to have some trouble with the Chargers. They're going to be a test for them.
Absolutely.
If Melvin Ingram is still there.
Well, now
because he might be gone. So the Kansas City Chiefs might have an easier road to bear to get to the Super Bowl. There's the Chargers they got to deal with. Mm-hmm. They got the Broncos, who are not going to be good.
You don't think so?
So you're just basically going through the AFC. You're just going through the AFC West.
No, but that's 2 games a year. They have to. They could possibly be 6-0 in their own division.
Okay,
that's okay. All you want. You want to be 6-0 in your division
first,
okay,
and that's how you get. Okay.
So you've got them playing against the Chargers.
Yep.
Right. Chargers are going to be so
they'll split.
First.
You're saying they'll split.
I think that they can sweep the Chargers.
Wow.
Okay, I think that's how good I think the Chiefs are. And hold up. Not only do they have a good defense, not a great defense. They have a good defense. They're okay. All right. Their offense is amazing. Tyreek Hill. Okay. Y'all know they just picked up LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah. Shady McCoy.
Do you understand? They just picked up LaShawn McCoy. What? As a second running back,
if you look at
LaShawn McCoy.
But if you're looking at Shady just as his stats and numbers, then yeah, you good. But you also got, when it comes to Shady McCoy, and we gonna always call him Shady, you got to look at his outside the game. You know what I'm saying? His behavior outside the game.
Why do I care about that?
Because that's how it always ends up affecting what he does on the field.
All I care about is he gonna be here for these 16 games that we got this season.
That's why I'm saying you got to watch that man's outside.
Has he missed games for personal reasons?
He hasn't. Now
there we go.
Now let him finish your point, and then we'll get right to you.
All right.
All I'm saying is Kansas City Chiefs have the easiest road to bear, and they have the most talent for a team that has the easiest road to bear. Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce's a beast.
Offensive line is amazing.
Truth.
Defense is okay.
Mr.
Getting
Watkins,
better.
Mr. Know-It-All, hold on. Go ahead, Mr. Jay Washington, the resident supervillain. Tell us who's going to the Super Bowl that's not New England.
First of all, you didn't even need to add the last part. This is not New England, because I would not say New England. So let's just establish that right away. I also want to say, before I give you this choice, I know for a fact I am a Chicagoan, born and bred.
Yes, sir.
So we have that established relationship on that day. I'm going to say this. And for people who know me personally, know where my heart is with this. The New Orleans Saints.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Why do you say that?
Several reasons. First and foremost, Drew Brees. I call him Breezes for a reason. Okay? I call him Breezes for a reason. You can quit shaking your head over there, Reggie.
He's good.
I call him Breezes for a reason.
He good.
That man is out to prove to everybody that them not going even to the game, it was a fluke. When they lost last year to the Rams. When they lost
the NFC Championship.
Year. Right. Them not
play.
going was a fluke. So, first of all, he wants to go. Drew Brees is trying to prove everybody wrong that keeps saying quarterbacks who hit 40 cannot produce anymore.
Just turned 40.
Yep. He's going to do that. You got Alvin Kamara, who is a monster.
Now, they lost the running back. They lost the running back, right?
You lose, but then you picked up John Kuhn. You got John Kuhn as fullback. And Kuhn was amazing in Green Bay. And as much as it hurts me to say that.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody highlight a fullback.
You got to highlight that fullback who gets yards. John Kuhn is a monster on the field. Stop it. And there have been other fullbacks that people have highlighted. So you can't do that one. You're talking about a team. Also, having Cameron Meredith at receiver helps out a lot.
Cameron Meredith, my good friend, is out with a knee injury.
Oh no, Jesus!
Yeah,
I didn't
he's
see
out.
he was out.
It's bad news for him.
I forgot.
You still sticking with the Saints?
I'm still sticking with the Saints.
Okay.
Just because I'm picking one, just because one receiver's damn dope. Look, let me show you. I'm gonna tell you how we're gonna do that.
Okay.
Because we're not allowed to pick the Patriots. The Patriots have always had receivers who go down, and then people are like, well, the Patriots ain't gonna do nothing. Tom Brady has made receivers you've never heard of.
Truth.
Famous.
Truth.
Nobody knew who Chris Hogan was before they year in the Super Bowl. So don't give me that Drew Brees can't do the same.
So you don't think the Cowboys are going?
Hell no.
Hell no. Why would anybody?
They just got their running back back. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Look, their offensive line. Let's go through it real quick.
Please do.
And we're going to get into this because we're going to bring in Tico Wells, my man rep in D.C. He's going to do the student of the game part. But the left tackle, Tyron Smith, is a 6-time Pro Bowler.
Yes.
Right? Center, Travis Frederick, 4-time Pro Bowler.
Great.
The right guard, Zach Martin, 5-time Pro Bowler.
Notre Dame.
Yes, sir. Go Irish. Al Collins signed to 2024. It's a dominant group when they're healthy. They are intact.
Yes.
Guys, like, how can you not
But listen to what you just
still
did.
the
Hold
Dallas
on.
Cowboys no matter
Listen
what.
to
when you
what
say
you
it.
just said. You said all those names, and you know what name you didn't say?
Which one?
The
quarterback.
The quarterback.
Why did you not say the quarterback? Because
You just focused on the O-line, but the dude behind the O-line is just as important, if not more.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about
The O-line doesn't score.
the O-line sets the line. They're the one that allows protects everyone. You know what someone needs behind the line? The quarterback needs is time.
Yeah.
He needs time, and those guys can create that. What does Zeke need? He needs holes.
he needs time, and he needs to be able to complete long balls, which
Yes, he does.
Dak Prescott does not do. Dak Prescott leaves so much food on the table.
Dak Prescott is a 15-yard, maybe he'll give you probably 30.
I'm
But
gonna
he's
get
not
the
giving you
stats on
nothing.
that.
He's
Dak
not gonna give you
Prescott
nothing
in my
deep.
house would never get to leave the table. Okay,
Jesus.
never get to leave the
You're
table.
gonna be a member of the Clean Play Club.
Yeah. He
Boy, you
leaves
see them
so
wings? You see them
much
wings?
on the table. Mama would have him sitting there all day.
I can see them going to the playoffs. I can see them winning 2 playoff games at best, but I can't see them going to the bowl. I think that's just a stretch. You know what I'm saying? I think you saying that Dallas can go to the bowl is a real big stretch.
Is that who you picking?
No, but here's
okay.
my question: should he be paid? Because you know that everyone's getting paid right now.
Should who be paid?
Dak. Should he get the big boy money?
Of course he should. Of course he should.
Okay. Why should he? Why shouldn't he?
Why should he?
Why
Because
should he?
there's money out there to be had.
Yeah.
Get all you can. Give it to him. This man is, I don't care if I don't think he's good. I don't care if you are the bummiest quarterback on the planet. If somebody is willing to pay you $30 million, I hope you get it.
Reggie Watkins and Mr. Know-It-All. Wow, I'm telling you. Here's the thing. We'll get into my opinion in a minute. Go ahead. Jay Washington, go ahead.
I just like you to know, this is the resident supervillain. Tell you why I say no, because that high money that Dak Prescott wants is elite quarterback money. Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. Dak Prescott is not an elite quarterback. There is a very, very big difference. Him talking about something he won't even take 30. He wants more than 30. Yo, you got to have that boy sit down and have somebody read him the rights and have him come back to reality.
Okay, let's take this. Let's hold up for a second, though, because what you do is you establish it amongst the market.
Bingo.
So if there's a quarterback, hold up.
Yeah.
This is how it works. It's business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it is.
Let the man
if
from the
there's
Bay
a
preach.
quarterback who you have continuously taken out to the woodshed stats wise, and your team is beating them, a la Carson Wentz, who I think is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
He is.
But the numbers don't bear it out. When they play head-to-head, Dallas has done better. So if I'm the quarterback of Dallas and this dude in our division just got paid $30+ million a year, why would I ask for anything less?
Preach.
Because the quarterback that just got paid $30+ million a year is on a Super Bowl winning team.
Who he had nothing to do with that win at all.
Matter.
Okay. Why?
He is still considered the starter
Not in my eyes.
of that.
No, he's a starter, but he wasn't a starter on that Super Bowl team.
I know that, and yes, we'll look at Nick Foles as like, yo, that was his win. But at the same time, it always
So why
will
is he
fall
getting paid
back.
for Nick Foles' win?
Man, there's a lot of quarterbacks been paid for other quarterbacks.
If that's the case, then that doesn't mean Dak should not ask for it.
But also, we can't compare what Philly is doing to what Dallas is doing. Dallas is barely winning up a playoff game.
We're going to continue this. We're going to continue this debate when we come back from the break. Remember, this is Brothers on Football on the Digital Podcast Network. We will be right back.
This is the story of a man who had a dream. And one day, that dream turned into...
Yo, what's going on? Dean Edwards got a new show?
Yo, what's poppin'? It's your man Dean Edwards. Guess what? You remember me from Saturday Night Live, you remember me from MTV's God Code, but now you're gonna remember me from the Dean Edwards Show on the Digital Podcast Network.
I don't listen to a lot of things, but I listen to my man Dean Edwards on the Digital Podcast Network. He got his own show.
It's all Dean, it's all love. It's all going down on the Digital Podcast Network. Visit digitalpodcastnetwork.com.
Buenas, Jael DePardo here. Want to hear this Colombiana speak her mind? Then check out the Latin Dish podcast exclusively on Digital Podcast Network.
Welcome back to Brothas On Football on the Digital Podcast Network. My name is David Haley. I'm your host. Today, we have been discussing with our panel who's going to the Super Bowl that is not New England. Now, we are now to our point of being the students of the game.
Student of the game.
Give it up for the Redskins' heartbeat, Tico. Well,
Tico,
Hey, that heart is in cardiac arrest.
They are 10 men, no more.
Get this man a defibrillator.
Oh my God, that heart is
boy.
in failure. Oh, there's some type of heart disease.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to go through the O-line positions and the D-line positions because, a lot of us are new to the game, or this is the first time they're starting to watch in the first, second years, and we just want to know the actual positions and what the responsibilities are on the field.
All right. Listen, we're going to talk about, for those out there who really want to learn the game, they watch the game, they come to Super Bowl parties, but they don't quite know what's going on, so they kind of fake it. Today, in this segment, Student of the Game, we're going to talk about the offensive line and the defensive line from a position standpoint. Who are those guys? What do they do? And let's break that all down. First of all, on the offensive line, there are usually 5 offensive linemen. Okay, that is the basic NFL, format. College, Pee Wee League, Pop Warner format.
You went all the way down with that, Tico. You were like all the way down. Pee Wee League. Gotcha.
Pop Warner.
So let's start off. Let's break it down. There's 5 people. The middle position is the center. The center is the person who touches the ball on offense on every play. He takes the ball from the ground position and through his legs pumps it back, or we call it a snap, to the quarterback, or it could be a direct snap to one of the running backs. But his job is to start the play. So we call that position the center. All right. Next, on both his left and right side, we have the guards. Okay, we got on the left guard, and on the right guard. On the outside of the guards, we have the tackles. Left tackle, right tackle. Now, the basics of what they do for those watching and who are new to the game, they do what we call block or protect the quarterback so that he can drop back or catch the ball and have time to throw. He is trying to protect and keep these 300-pound defensive, angry, rough and tough defensive linemen from gobbling up his quarterback or the running backs. Now, the second thing that the offensive line does is run block. They block for what we call the running backs. They open up holes and they can move around and do what we call a sweep. So they can move around and block. The thing that they don't do usually is touch the ball except for the center. All right. Now, there are certain situations where a big 300-pound lineman can actually catch the ball. That's a very special situation. They have to go to the referee and announce that they're going to be eligible to catch a pass. So that is a very special situation. But most of the time, these guys are 6'2", 6'5", 6'1", 295 to 345. Okay, these are some big dudes. And it's amazing how fast they can run.
What college cranks out the best? Do you know the most successful offensive lineman in all of college football? Do you know the answer to that question?
No, I don't.
Anybody else know?
I would go ahead and say offensive. Notre Dame.
Notre Dame?
I'm sitting there looking up the stats for y'all right now since you just caught me last minute with it. I mean, when you think of offensive line, David, you're thinking about bigger guys like Tico just said.
Right.
You're thinking about these stacked brick houses. And only the division that best sits in my mind when you're talking college is the SEC.
Yeah, right.
You know, something like an Alabama, something like an Auburn, something like an LSU. These are college. These are programs that are producing hosses, as we would call them. You know what I'm saying?
The reason I say Notre Dame is because
Reggie Watkins, go ahead.
You can't be no fool to get to Notre Dame. Okay, so and an offensive line is a smart position. You have to have brains. You have to have patience to be able to go on a different snap count. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to take in all kind of aspects of what's happening around you, teamwork, double teaming defensive linemen. So Notre Dame gets the big corn-fed boys as well, and they got the brains to play the position. So
it's not just a reactionary.
Yeah,
defense is much more reactionary, and offense is we're setting the tone. We're moving the ball forward. We have a plan here to execute, right? Back to you, Tico, on the offensive line. Did we complete all that?
Well, the other thing is the tight end position. This is a person who's maybe anywhere from 6 foot to 6'5". He's probably anywhere from 235 to 260 with a Gronk. Somebody like a Gronk. The tight end position is a hybrid. He's an offensive lineman, smaller than your center, guard, and tackle, but he not only blocks, but he can go out and catch passes. He can also take a handoff from the quarterback. So the tight end plays on the outside of your tackles. So to sum that offensive line up again, we have the center on his left and right, 2 guards, the left and right guard, the 2 tackles, the left and right tackle, and the tight end can play on either side, the left or right. And in some sets, going all the way back to Joe Gibbs, start stacking it heavy with 2 tight ends.
Got it.
Okay.
Well done. Okay. So you can move on to the defensive line.
Okay, you got 2 basic defensive lines. You got the 3-4 and you got the 4-3.
Okay, what's the difference?
Okay, the difference is the 3-4 is 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers.
Got it.
And you reverse that for the 4-3. You got 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. Let's start off with the most traditional, which has been the 4-3. 4 defensive linemen. You've got in the middle 2 tackles. On the outside, you got 2 defensive ends. So defensive tackles in the middle, defensive ends on the outside. On the 3-4, you have 1 tackle. It's called a nose tackle or nose guard. Some people call it nose guard. But he's the nose position. He's in the middle. And you got 2 defensive ends on the outside.
And he's going up against the center.
He's going directly head-to-head of the center. He can play off a little bit, left or right, but they're going to use 3 defensive linemen. And the linemen are the people that are holding it down. They're going head-to-head against the offensive line. They're going to rush the passer when it's a passing play. They're going to stuff the run, hopefully, and clog those holes up for those running backs. So that's the basics of the defensive line and the offensive line. Those are the positions.
All right, Tico, who is the best offensive line in the league as far as you're concerned?
Well, for years it's been the Cowboys. This year, I think the Cowboys – first of all, look at Zeke Elliott. He's been tremendous for these last 3 years, his first 3 years in the league. Right. He didn't do it by himself.
Of course.
They got a great offensive line that opened up those holes that he can blast through. But when you talk about pass protection, I have never seen anything like the New England Patriots. So they're the Super Bowl champs. I'm going to give it to them.
Fantastic. Okay, what about the best defensive line in the league?
Best defensive line. That's a tough one. I like the Rams. I like the Rams defensive line.
Why?
Aaron Donald?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a bad boy.
He's the best, maybe the best player in the league.
Lineman. Yeah,
in the league.
But you know what? New England is funny because we call them no-name players, but then they win the Super Bowl. So none of us can even probably name the defensive line for the Patriots, but they always come out on top.
I will say this, Tico, that there were people you could name. We knew of Vince Wilfork. We knew of some of the
back in the day.
Back in the day, you knew of the defensive linemen for New England. That was the thing you made sure you knew of because they were always making headlines because of how good they were.
So, Jay, since you started, who is the best offensive line in the league?
Well, I'm going best offensive line. Of course, I'm going with the New Orleans Saints. And
of course.
Here's why.
How?
I'll tell you why. The Saints O-line last season allowed the fewest quarterback hits in the league. They blocked the fewest percentage of runs that led to, a tackle or something behind on the line of scrimmage. Now, they did lose some players, but they have also rebuilt that. So they have held up. They are actually the number 2 ranked O-line behind Dallas being number 1 from last year. So that's how I can say that.
Okay.
When it comes to New Orleans, I'm going to back mine up with facts.
Okay. All right, Reggie?
Best offensive line in the league is the Philadelphia Eagles. Jason Kelce at center. Bad boy. Okay?
Yep.
Brandon Brooks. Lane Johnson. They got 2 Pro Bowlers bookending the outside of their offensive line. left tackle, and right tackle. And they drafted a first-round pick, Andre Dillard, tackle. Just in case one of the Pro Bowlers gets hurt, they got a first-round pick to come in and play. You know what that says? We care about Carson Wentz a whole hell of a lot, okay?
Because he broke that knee. He broke that knee last season, right?
So we are going to draft a lineman that we hope doesn't even play this year.
Great.
But in case we need him,
love it.
He's there.
That was my pick. You stole my thunder, but yes, co-sign on that. All of that. So now we're going to go to the best defensive line. We're going to start with Jay.
It is arguably, for me, going to be the Monsters of the Midway.
Oh, it's not
yes,
the Saints?
sir.
It's not the Saints?
Chicago.
No.
Yes, sir.
Chicago has been built on defense. They are known for defense, and they have rebuilt their defense. When you bring a player to play your linebacker as Khalil Mack, who charges up the defensive front even more.
Yep.
Because he invigorates them to perform more.
Speak on it.
So you already know where I'm going with this. The defensive front in Chicago is dominant. They were third in the league last year in defense. You cannot deny what this defensive front does. This defensive front gets through O-lines who are still quick as well as they are big.
Yeah.
Akeem Hicks is one of them. These guys
he's the nose tackle.
He's the nose.
The thing about here to your point, they have the most takeaways last year, number one in the league. Why? Because if you pressure the quarterback, it doesn't give him a lot of time. Like you're talking about the O-line, right? Just what you were saying about that, Tico, about how when the O-line starts to back into the quarterback, he starts making decisions that aren't great. That's how they intercept the ball. That's because the defensive line is so dominant. Reggie, go ahead. Best defensive line in the league.
Best defensive line in the league, without a doubt, is the Chargers.
Wow. It's time for me to go and lead this podcast.
Wow.
Hold up. Do we understand what we're talking about here? Defensive line. Okay, we're not talking about linebackers or defensive front. We are talking about defensive line.
Okay.
Do you know who's on the Chargers defensive line?
I sure do.
Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
And on the other side of him, do you know who's over there? Another Pro Bowler. His name is Melvin Ingram. Okay? Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa bookending the ends of your line. Where do you have that at? Who else has that? Nobody. Defensive tackle, Justin Jones, Brandon Mebane. Brandon Mebane's dope, too. They have the best defensive line in the NFL. They don't have the best linebackers, but their defensive front four.
Yeah, which Reggie is true what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about, the front four.
Front 3 or 4.
You got two Pro Bowlers on the front four.
Wow. Well, gentlemen, so your picks, we said earlier in the earlier segment, we were talking about who's going to go to the Super Bowl that is not New England, and your final pick was?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Yours was?
New Orleans Saints.
And Tico?
Kansas City.
Here we go.
Kansas City.
2-1.
Well, you've heard everybody's prediction about who's going to the Super Bowl this year on Brothas On Football on the Digital Podcast Network for the 2019-2020 season. We'll see what happens. See you on the next episode of Brothas On Football. You've been listening to Brothas On Football exclusively on the Digital Podcast Network. Start your subscription now at digitalpodcastnetwork.com.